What's up, everybody? Welcome to a game that was played in the North American scene just recently. We have a VOX Nihili going up against Crescendo. And well, right now we have a score of 1-1. This is actually the game that is going to decide which one of the teams goes to the first North American Regional Qualifier, the offline event, of course, or the first regional final, sorry, my bad. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty sick game. It's the last map between the two teams. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time before I fly to Valencia to get the entire best of 3 done, but I was told that the last map was actually pretty cool, so we're going to take a closer look at it. We have VOX Nihili to the left side right now with Goat on Liming, Deo on ETC, Zeus on Thrall, Hosty on Falstad, and Lex Uther on Charism. To the right side, it's Crescendo with Glorang on Mirrodin, APM on Rega, Prismaticism on Sylvanas, KingCaffein is currently playing a Nuborak, and we're having a K1 Pro on Greymane. And yeah, I kind of ran out of time there for a moment because both of the teams immediately orientating themselves into the middle of the map, trying to get a kill here. So once again, in this case, we have the last game of a best-of-3 series that will decide which one of these two teams goes to the NA Regional Final, the first NA Regional Final for the fall season. And of course, this is like the most important season of them all, since the global final will be at BlizzCon. And with KingCaffein and the boys, of course, forming a new team, this is also one of the games that saw a lot of attention, since, of course, everybody wants to know, do some of the ex-Cloud9 players like KingCaffein, like K1 Pro, still make it in the competitive scene? Will the new team be successful or not? And VOX Nihili is, of course, like another team that we've seen for quite some time. A few changes here as well. But right now, KingCaffein actually trying to get a bit of damage done. We're having up at the top lane, Mirrodin going up against Thrall. And if you look at the two combos that we're seeing in this game, you can already tell that there's some pretty sick drafting going on there. First of all, if you get a Sylvanas and a Greymane on Battlefield of Eternity, you have a massive amount of damage output against the Immortal after level 7 when Sylvanas hits her Barb Shot, which is going to be the preferred talent, I suppose. We're having a big frontline for them as well, with not only a Nuborak who can dive deep, but also, of course, Uther, who's currently going into the Reverberation build. And when we're looking at VOX Nihili, then we're actually seeing them currently with the Liming for the poke, and Falstad, of course, as well. And Falstad right now is also heading straight into the ability damage with the Gathering Storm as his level 1 talent. That being said, we have for Liming not the Ether Walk, which we sometimes see on this map, it's the Astral Presence instead here. So a bit more sustained during the fights over the Immortal, especially in the later stages. But both of the teams just going for a race at the start here. And at the beginning, at least, this is one of those that the red team is actually winning. They're doing pretty well here thus far, and they have the damage output. I mean, if you have a Greymane in that setup, he has so much DPS, it is absolutely crazy. And they are very likely to also win the Immortal here. Both of the teams just going for the full-on race, and it looks like Crescendo is going to claim it. Barely, by the way. 500 hit points left. Was very close. They nearly lost that fight. But they get the first Punisher. Shouldn't really be not doing too much here, considering that the shields are more or less non-existent. But let's see how exactly it is going to plan out. So we have the last game in the best of 3 series, Battlefield of Eternity, an interesting map for that, since it's one of the shortest maps. It's a very aggressive map, oftentimes a bit snowbally. And especially if you have Sylvanas in your setup, then you can always push very hard. And that's exactly what Crescendo is currently trying to do. They're moving down through the bot lane. We're having both of the teams down level 4 talents as well. And Prismaticism is actually doing really well here, disabling all of the structures. And they get a lot of value out of this Immortal thanks to it. So very well done here. Even Mirrodin is rotating down. They want to see if they can maybe even get a kill here. Glorang is about to jump in. Up at the top, Thrall is still very much alone, soaking some experience for his team. As we're seeing K1 Pro and KingCaffein diving deep. They go for ETC, and they get the kill. Take him down, and now they might even get... Yes, they do. They get Falstad. It's a double kill for Crescendo. Well played. Thrall is making the rotation now, though, and is trying to at least trade, but the fort is already gone, and that is an easy level advantage that we're currently seeing on the side of the red team. Job well done, and let's find out if they can actually carry that to victory. Because, well, the blue team might be down a fort, but they still have their chances with the second Immortal and the ones after that, of course. But if you have a Sylvanas against you, you really need to make sure that you win that objective. The snowball potential of Sylvanas is insane, especially on maps like Infernal Shrines and also, of course, on Battlefield of Eternity. So she's going to try and just push through the top lane with the next Immortal if they can claim it. But Crescendo, they had a good start into the game, but of course there's still a lot of work to be done. We're currently seeing hammer gains on the side of Falstad going into the build that is currently like the most popular. You're still trying to go for the boomerang. You start with the Gathering Storm, and Falstad himself is actually in a lot of trouble. What a beautiful gank here by Crescendo. They actually attack him from all sides here. It was more or less a surround against Falstad, and he's just barely not able to break through the wall and back to safety. Very well done, and even the aggression that we're seeing from Crescendo. They're actually doing really well with that guerrilla style that they have here. Not only do they get the kill against Falstad, but they also immediately jump with 5 players to the top lane, take down another fort, or at least try to, and the damage output alone and the experience that we're seeing for them is already worth it quite a bit. We have them on level 7, that's where the Barb Shot comes into play, and Meridian goes into the Iron Forge momentum, so it's very likely that we're going to see the Chinese-Korean build continue with the healing static on level 13 then, and maybe even the additional Dwarf Toss Talon on level 16 with a heavy impact so that you get the additional stun. They have the double frontline setup, so they could definitely afford to not go for Stone Form, which is actually a talent that you don't see all that often anymore. A lot of Meridian players also going into Give 'em the Axe. It's still level 7 talents versus level 7 talents, so something that we have to definitely keep in mind. Yes, Crescendo is doing a whole lot of work in this early game and pushing the structures down very hard, but at the same time we are currently seeing VOX Nihili doing a very solid job trying to keep up in experience. They are level behind, but they can still fight on even talents, and that's what really counts here. Sylvanas rotated to the bot lane, trying to take one of the waves away as the fight is still continuing over here. Glorang has to jump out, he needs to be careful. KingCaffein is immediately going forward to zone for the rest of the team, but he's also dropping a lot of HP, and that's now an opportunity where we might see the blue team starting to go in for some extra damage. But as you can already tell, up to the top we're having K1 Pro trying to put more pressure onto the blue team's Immortal, and he has the damage output to do so. They are trying to help him out here. KingCaffein is on the way up to the top. APM is there now too with his Rhaegar. Gets stunned though, needs to be very careful. K1 Pro once again jumping on that Immortal, and once more it's the red team, it's Crescendo that's able to reach the halftime show first. They have a slight lead here. It's nothing too crazy just yet, but they still have a bit of a lead with this Immortal. And you can all remember what happened the last time that they were able to get the objective. They went through the bot lane for it like it was nothing. Sylvanas made it happen, and they of course try to do the same thing up at the top now. 2 heroes had to move back though, and this is immediately the sign for the blue team to try and go for the objectives themselves. They are starting to go to the top. We had at the bot lane still Falstad trying to get some extra experience, pushing the lane of course as well, and they're starting to jump in right now. Falstad is on the way. Here we have him starting to go in. KingCaffein still zoning, trying to use the vision to his advantage with the debris there, and at the same time APM with his level 4 talent, the healing totem, he's actually doing some solid work for his team. They definitely have the sustain right now, but we are seeing everybody else just going back on lane, trying to get some additional pressure in. Lex Uther is still there and is trying to maybe take down or to get a bit of damage at the wall there. Gets at least the minions in position, but up to the top we are seeing it again, this poke. Both of the teams, they really don't want to overextend here. And especially, of course, for Crescendo, it's a situation in which they might even at some point get level 10. And that's the dream here. If they can push with the Immortal and level 10, that would be absolutely fantastic for them. Once again, though, it looks like the poke might be even a bit too much, and the blue team is doing a very solid job with that. Li Ming and Falstad in a perfect position to dish out that poke damage, and at some point Crescendo has to make a move. K1 Pro, on the other hand, is all of a sudden caught. There's nobody to zone for him, no heals available. That's the end of Greymane, and now it's just the blue team about to take an Immortal once again. They go in, they go deep, and they can. It's a 5 versus 4, and they take full advantage of it. They take the Immortal, and that was an important one for them. As mentioned before, if you have Sylvanas against you, you will always be in a very tricky spot, so they need to make sure that they get these Immortals, and of course it's also going to help them to reach level 10 a little bit faster, which is absolutely crucial here, considering how much Crescendo try to just snowball and capitalize on the overall Immortals that they had here. But for now, the deep push is already happening. Up to the top lane, Falstad is in position for the blue team. They're not trying to push with 5. They're only here with 4, so they have to be careful. They are trying to poke, and they need to make sure that they don't die. Falstad will push the top lane. He will secure some extra experience for his team, and that's currently his job here. Talents are in as well. We're seeing once again the mosh pit. We have Disintegrate. There's the Mighty Gus, Palm, and also, of course, the Sundering on Thrall. The Immortal is not going to go through the fort just yet. Glorang pushing the opponent back already. He can always jump out here, so he's really just zoning them. But Falstad is getting the extra value up at the top lane. He's trying to at least take down the well. And so he should. He knows that everybody is still at the bot lane. Hosti needs to move in and take at least the well down. Drop that fountain, make sure that the opponent doesn't have the lane sustain, there we go, and then he can still join up with the rest of the team if need be. And they are already fighting again. Level 10 is now on both sides available, since we have the Ancestral Healing, Wailing Arrow, Locust Swarm, go for the Throat, and Muradin, of course, with the Avatar. The camp about to be stolen, but VOX Nihili is starting to fight for it. Here comes Glorang. Glorang is in trouble, gets the Ancestral, but Deo is down on his ETC. Great silence here as well, thanks to Sylvanas' Wailing Arrow, getting that in the perfect moment in time. No heals available. Karazim did have no opportunity to actually use his palm in this moment as well. And right now you can see that the top lane is immediately being pushed. Crescendo losing the second Immortal, but still strong rotations on their end. They know that Falstad is top lane, so they push that in, try to steal the camp. Maybe a bit greedy, but as long as they see Falstad top, they can still go for it. And they're able to win the fight, and then with the advantage in numbers, they start to rotate top again, take down the fort, and just continue to start claiming a few of those mercenaries on the map too. And in the meantime, we had Sylvanas do this exact same thing at the bot lane. So they are playing a little bit greedy in the sense that they're splitting their team in these situations, but they are usually having the vision on the opponent's team, which is the important part. That kill against Glorang, on the other hand, was definitely a setback here, and the camp to the top didn't really achieve anything. So now Muradin is dead. Immortals are spawning in 25 seconds. At that point, Muradin is going to be with them again. But we might actually see VOX Nihili now with an attempt to go for a fort themselves. They have a chance to push this, but they decide against it. The camp over here is already taken. They're still poking a little bit up at the top. And for now, there's already KingCaffein zoning them again down at the bot lane. We have Falstad. He's deep pushing a camp. He's trying to make sure that they're not getting pressure at the keep when the Immortal is being fought over. And it is Immortal time again. We're having Falstad starting to make his way up into the middle of the map. Level 12 versus level 11, 3 kills versus 4. Very close game here. And keep in mind, this is the deciding map. This is the map that you really need to win if you want to make it to the regional final. Of course, this is only the first qualifier, but still, if you can make it here, then you don't have to be afraid that you might drop to another team in the second or even the third qualifier and not make it to the offline finals altogether. For now, though, Glorang again receiving the damage here. KingCaffein trying to go in, but missing the target. Falstad now rotated to the top, but he has to push another Shaman camp. He's all over the place right now, trying to make sure that he can make those lanes a little bit safer, but here comes that Wailing Arrow. Hosti goes in. That's a great Mighty Gust. They try to capitalize on it with a kill on Glorang, but the Ancestral is there. Well done by Rega, and here's the palm saving ETC as he's being focused by Crescendo. Theo is still looking for that mosh pit that so far he was not able to get in just once. Glorang again jumping out there. K1 Pro is also low. Everybody trying to go for the well again. They're just tapping the fountain for now and trying to join the fight again. But once more, the problem here is really that Falstad is going to secure that level 13 for the blue team. So Crescendo is in a situation in which time is running out. They put some pressure onto the Immortal of the opponent's team already, so they're slightly ahead at the objective, but now level 30 is there against them. And this time we are having the Illusionist. With no Calamity taken, it's the Seeker here on level 7. We're seeing also on Thrall the Giant Killer. He wants to go for that extra damage against especially Muradin, and of course also Enubarak. The Mosh is there, the kill confirmed. Down goes Rega. They're trying to get a second one against KingCaffein, but he burrow charges out of there, and now it's still the advantage in favor of the blue team. They can try and go in for the Immortal. If they secure this one, that would be their second Immortal in the game. Well played so far, and that level 13 talent helped a lot, of course. At this point, you're having the Relentless on Karazim, which is going to make his life so much easier. And even the Flow Rider, which is, of course, another great tool to have, especially if you can keep yourself a little bit farther towards the back, so that you get the extra poke in. Really well done on their end, and they get the halftime show here. But by now we are also seeing everybody back on the side of Crescendo. It's still a really close game that we are seeing, and both of the teams are taking position in the middle again. We saw everyone on the side of VOX Nihili once again move just back, try to tap mana, go for the extra health now, and they can just reset the entire fight in the middle. This objective is not won yet. They are trying though.
And Li Ming is not there yet. Falstead, he's doing what Falstead does. He's at the bot lane. He's pushing another wave. With his boomerang, he can do that quite easily. And this is exactly what he needs to do. Put some additional pressure on those forts. Try to make sure that they get maybe even some structures while the fight in the middle of the map is still raging on. Earth Shield taken for Rhaegar. He knows that there's a massive amount of burst and he wants to make sure they can keep his teammates alive. We're seeing at the same time the Urticating Spines. We have the Wind Runner now taken too, and this might be the moment. Healing Static taken, of course, for Muradin. Up to the top, the defense is there, but Crescendo, again, they can't defend forever. The poke is too strong for the opponent. They need at some point to really make a decision. They need to go in, they need to commit, they need to take the fight to their opponent's team, but can they really do it? VOX Nihili is just taking position around the Immortal, poking whenever they can. The only one who's down there is K1 Pro, and Greymane has sick damage against the Immortal. Here comes the commitment up at the top. KaffeIn goes in, KaffeIn goes deep. He's trying to go for Falstead. Here comes K1 Pro. The palm is there. A great palm by Karazim. Well played, but ETC is still falling. And the Mighty Gus is just barely saving Falstead as K1 Pro was already looking for a second kill. So after they lost the early fight and lost one of their heroes, they now still win the Immortal. It doesn't have a lot of shields, but we've all seen what Sylvanas can do with one of these bad boys, and this one is going to go straight through the top lane, and there's no fort left. It's only the keep. The keep is the only thing that they have to go through. The bot lane is still standing. We're currently seeing that at roughly 30-25% HP. Up to the top also a little bit less than half health, as we have everyone on the side of Crescendo up at the top trying to just make sure that this Immortal is going to get value. Falstead is where he is supposed to be. Soaking experience, trying to maybe pressure that fort. He can always fly back, and he has to do that soon. His cooldown is going to be back in another 10 seconds, then he will be able to gust again, and that's going to be important for them. Glorung is already there. Glorung is looking if he can maybe jump in and get a kill, get a lockdown. He's of course also waiting for the Immortal to maybe help out with that too. At this point we are seeing the wall fallen. Sylvanas does what she is supposed to with a disable against the fort itself. So right now we are seeing that drop even faster. They're jumping past it. There's a great mosh pit once again. A perfect mosh to take down Sylvanas. And we have also the Sundering. They're trying to confirm the kill against Greymane. And K1 Pro, he dies. The keep is gone. The Immortal is still alive, but it's a 5 versus 3 on the map. And they are attempting to make the triple kill. They are still starting to chase here. Lex Uther is the only one who's close enough. He's trying to slow them down a bit. KaffeIn missing the stun here. In comes Falstead, and he pushes them into the corner. ETC, can he slide? He's waiting for it. KaffeIn moves out. The palm is on Falstead, but he's not getting triggered. He's moving away. Rhaegar, on the other hand, is so low as well. They didn't focus properly, and now they lose Falstead. They might even lose Karazim. Here comes Rhaegar again. APM with a great ancestral healing. They're just attempting to turn it around. But once again, ETC, they just can't get their kill against Rhaegar. KaffeIn goes deep for Karazim, but he himself is now in trouble. Glorung, the only one with full HP right now. He might actually be trapped. He has to jump out of there, but we have Prismaticism coming back to business. He's coming back into the fight, and they're going in again. And look at Rhaegar. Once again, he survives. I just don't know how. He's so greedy. He always jumps in, gets the extra damage. That dog is crazy. Unbelievable. ABM is able to confirm another kill with the rest of his teammates. They take down ETC, they take down Karazim, and it is level 16 versus 16. What a fight and what a battle. 8 kills versus 6 now. Up to the top. K1 Pro is already here. He went for the Executioner on level 16. We're seeing the Epicenter after Underking was already taken to increase the burrow charge. We're also seeing now the Evasive Fire for Sylvanas, and we have given the Axe for Muradin. It's all about the damage for them right now, and they have quite a bit of that. Of course, the Circle of Life is going to make VOX Nihili's life a bit easier now too, especially since they have with ETC and Thrall two very strong frontliners here fighting as well. Counter Karazim in as well, and you have already 3 heroes that can benefit from the talent, and if maybe Li Ming or Falstead are close to, they can get even more healing out of him. When you look at the damage numbers, then Sylvanas with 54,000 is actually in a really sweet spot, but Li Ming is even ahead of her with 60k that she brings to the table. For now, once again, oh, nice. The damage against Glorung, pretty solid. But we have Thrall in a bit of a problem here. Glorang tries to go for the stun. Look at ETC, he's already so low. The palm gets triggered. The kill against Sylvanas in the backline on the other hand. Really well played, but Falset is dying. Thrall is trying. ETC falls, and it's a quad kill as Karazim kisses his life goodbye. This is the moment where they're trying to end. Glorang jumps the wall, tries to push Gold back, and he has to retreat. They're trying to go for the core at this point. They don't even bother with the Immortal anymore. It's level 17 versus 17, but they're trying to end right now. Crescendo in this third game of the best of 3 series is gonna make it happen. They advance to the first regional final in North America for the fall season. Congratulations, well played. Even if Rega and Sylvanas didn't make it into the picture at the end of the match. Great games by them, and congratulations for the winner in this best of 3 series at the end of the North America qualifier.